Here comes the Nastygram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nastygram D&D Podcast. This is a Tangled Web, Chapter 8, Above and Below.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic.
Salavar casts his thoughts back to the battle. Were we fools? Death again came so close. Xorn, his bodyguards, even his cat, were formidable opponents. Our plan was rushed, our confidence misguided. And for what purpose? To make it home? To stop House 2 and Tall before Fenra's survival throws our houses into chaos? Isn't that what the Spider Queen revels in? Chaos? Still nothing from our mother, or from Pitrix, her sniveling pet. No concern, no assistance. Are we just pets to her? Jidden too? Playthings, spared for our possible utility. For so long, I have been desperate for her approval to demonstrate that I deserve to live, and I am tired of this dance. The voice in my head, I realize that it has opened my eyes to these things. But to what end? The world is so much more vast than I could have ever known, and the creatures far more numerous. Even among my allies, there are powers more varied than they would ever whisper in Menzo. Why do I risk so much for the scraps from Mother's table? She gave me life, true, and I will return her that favor with the death of Fenra. But mark me now, my life will not always walk along the spider's web.
Welcome back to the Nastygram Dungeons & Dragons podcast. I'm going to be your Dungeon Master, Jake, and this is A Tangled Web. In memoriam, Xorn, Stone Spine.
As a player, I loved him. As a character, I killed him. This is Josh. I'm playing Zavir, the Crisis of Faith wizard.
Hey everyone, Dan here, playing Salavar the Warlock, who is very badly hurt.
What's good, Matt? I'll be playing Jidden Duskrin and the blinged out mage hand.
Are they on? They are all on the fingers of the mage hand.
Yeah.
If something can be said of Xorn, he had great taste. I'm Devin, playing Saverkeen Earthwalker.
Arch enemy too.
Darth Xorn.
That sucks, Jake.
What?
That combat.
That didn't suck.
Good. Goblin combat would have been fun. I had all the stats for the goblins, too. All 99 of them.
Definitely would have gotten.
And the Displacer Beast is going to come at you guys with vengeance.
It would have party wiped us.
It would have party
wiped us.
Yeah, it was in pretty good shape.
Dude, that fear effect was
huge.
Critical.
Yeah. We see a small skiff glide out of a tunnel on the water outside of deep water. It glides onto the black lake and moves out until it's underneath a waterfall. You see the sparkle of the mithril in the water as it falls nearby. The roar of it hitting the water makes it almost impossible to hear each other. But Saverkeen pulls out a whistle. Very high pitch. Your elven ears can hear it. After a moment, you see forms fluttering down from above the waterfall.
Do not be afraid.
Spiraling.
Calm yourself.
Afraid? I'm ashamed. Relying on goblins?
6 cloakers start circling. On the backs of 2 of them, you see goblins. One of the goblins yells out in Undercommon, "They will do the work. Let them carry you." And then they move in quickly, almost aggressively. They grab each of you. They pull you off of the skiff and into the air. Dan, does Salavar have that axe?
Yes.
Okay. It struggles to carry you, but it does. Luckily, you're all very light, These things can't carry a ton of weight. But it does. It manages to bring you up.
It's a very unheroic image.
The rest of you just glide up, and then this one's like,
Is it because of the axe, or how much do you weigh?
it's mostly because of the axe.
Yep.
He's also bigger.
He's also the biggest of all of you.
Oh, you're
with
jacked.
10
Yeah, 10 strength. I forgot.
Yeah.
He's been juicing.
A crazy 10.
It's just an unrealistic body image. Nobody can see that.
Oh, shit. You make your way up to the nest. This large, sort of egg-shaped room with thousands of small cubbies and pockmarks around it, little tunnels leading in every possible direction.
Must smell terrible.
And out of several of them, slow streams of water are coming to fill a large pool in the center of the room. And as that pool overflows over one of its edges, it falls into this hole in the ground and down to the cavern below. And you all come up out of this hole and land in the nest. You see forms fluttering through the darkness in every corner, all around. You see the glowing red eyes of goblins on the walls, on the ceilings, hanging, poking out of holes. And as these cloakers drop you in the center of the room, they just disperse. And Trolltooth is there. His leather cloaker wrapped around him like a robe.
We look to Silavar.
Silavar walks forward.
Not on top of the spire. That's not good.
He tosses the king's head at his feet.
Sure that's him?
Quite.
Mostly gone.
That was the point.
Huh.
Now it's time to honor your side of the deal.
He picks it up with both hands and examines it very closely. It is hard to tell that it's Xorn. What is this? What happened? What did you do?
He kind of glances sidelong at the wizard, and he says, "We killed him. Isn't that enough?"
He's definitely suspicious because the head is melted.
The news will travel.
Savarkeen steps up.
He looks at you.
She turns around and looks at Severe. Give me the rings, just to show him.
He looks at Jidden and then
He has
reaches,
a high stealth. She didn't see him take the rings.
reaches into a pouch and he holds some in his hand and like extends them and then turns to the...
She takes them from your hand and then turns to Trolltooth.
He looks at them. Devin, Savarkeen has a pretty high insight.
Yeah.
You can tell he looks at them for a while, like he's maybe looking for a specific one.
There are more. What happened to him is the same that happens to any who stand in the way of the drow.
I believe it.
She'll hand the rings back to Severe.
-2.
She'll hand a ring back to Severe.
You will need some rest.
When can we leave?
We time it so that we travel on the surface at night. We leave in 6 hours.
The surface.
Yes. Up and down. It is the fastest way to
Up and
Menzoberranzan.
down and up and down.
As long as it gets us home, we need to beat her there.
Rest. He points to a corner that's a little cleaner. The water is clean.
You see Zavir like pointedly like sniff and make a face.
Nice. He says, make a fire if you wish. And he leaves. He kind of wanders off. And leaves you all to your devices for 6 hours.
Silavar goes to this corner of the cave, props the axe against the wall, sits down next to it. He's quiet. He's thinking about what we just did and where it actually gets us.
Okay.
Zavir has identify, but he has it as part of a divination cleric.
Cool.
So he puts the rings in front of him, kind of tries to make a little bit of a clearing, lays a cloak down to sit on, make sure that, we're relatively safe, looks around and kind of investigates suspiciously. And he casts dancing lights, and then you see him kind of like closing his eyes, his lips moving quickly, his fingers making these little ritualistic motions. And some time passes, and then you see his face just kind of ball up in frustration. He kind of stops, starts again. He's at it for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then finally you hear him just curse, and he stands and like paces.
Too close to the surface.
I've spent myself too extensively dealing with Xorn. I shall need rest.
We are on the far side of it now. Now, Fenra is our mission, where none of us will have a home to go back to.
I think I have enough strength for another incantation. It will protect us from anyone coming close. I'm sure Zavir used alarm on the way up at some points. But he says, however, with these creatures crawling all around, I think it would be wise that we still maintain a watch.
Always. I do not disagree.
Trolltooth comes back. He's got what looks like a basket. He puts it down. There's mushrooms and fish in it, raw. He says, 6 hours and we leave.
But it's not enough for a long rest.
We'll be on the
according to
surface
players.
quickly. And then we'll travel through the night. We have a roost on the surface. A place where we can hide from the light. We will hide for a day. Then we will travel by night again. Then we will return to the tunnels.
Very well.
Savarkeen is nodding.
Trolltooth. What does the king's death mean to you people?
Means we'll be left alone. He meant to clear us out. Did the coin counter live?
Yes.
He'll take over. But he is
You see Salavar flash you a look.
But he is weak and has no spine. He won't attack us.
He has an ally in Torm, as do we. He assured me that you would be unbothered in your home.
Good.
Thank you for the food.
Rest. The ride will be difficult.
Zavir looks disapprovingly at the food basket.
Mushrooms and raw fish. You guys make some awesome sushi.
True.
Savarkeen grabs
Time to make a stew.
Oh, no.
Savarkeen grabs a couple of sardines, and pops one, and walks over to she casts dancing lights
Okay.
across the lake, and she'll sit down at the shores of the lake, watching as the water tumbles down. And she's going to ponder this ring. She's thinking about the ring, but also about, it's sort of as a prayer to Lolth.
So we'll do a little bookkeeping type stuff right now because you'll have time to identify them, but we're going to do some fun stuff.
Hey.
All right. The axe. Daniel.
Okay.
The axe of elf slaying.
What am I going to do
The
with this
fucking
thing?
non-drow has
Yep.
a axe elf slaying.
Great.
in Menzo.
Great axe +2
Wow.
plus 2d6 against elves.
Oh my!
Sick.
They are not going to give you a permit for that.
Yeah, it's made for a large creature.
Yeah. So need to sell it. I'm not a large creature.
To someone who loves elves.
Large creatures.
You need to learn it
You
large.
need to attune to it, bro. You're a warlock of Pact of the Blade.
Can he even wield it though?
No, I don't think so.
I think you get disadvantage unless you take a feat.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's true. I don't know. I'm making shit up. Devin, the ring you got, it's not a real magic item. I made it up, I think. So here's how it works. 3 charges per day as the metamagic feat distant spell.
Cool. Very cool.
So for those who don't automatically just know what that means, it means that you can double the range of a range spell or make a touch spell a 30-foot range.
It's fucking awesome.
That's really good for me. Druids can learn enlarge, reduce. I can prepare it each day. Hold on to the axe.
Fucking an elf with an enormous axe is such a silly anime thing.
He's not an elf.
True.
You're not an elf.
And now for the fun part. I'm going to have each of you roll a d20
Oh boy.
for a random ring. There's really technically 22 magic rings, but I'm not including Ring of Three Wishes, and I'm also not
already missed that one.
including the Ring of Mind Shielding. That's the one Josh already has. We don't want to double down.
Ooh. I mean, that could be good.
A one?
I think
I got a one.
I think it's honestly just alphabetical. So
Okay.
I'm just going down the list. Well, we'll go one at a time here. So hold your rolls. We'll start with Devin. I don't know who's keeping what. So if one of you wants to write it down.
I'll put it in our Google Doc.
I'll put it in our cool field notes.
Yeah.
Because I like stuff written down on paper.
Devin, fittingly, Ring of Animal Influence.
It's a treasure section.
Can use it to cast Animal Friendship, Fear on beasts, or Speak with Animals.
It's pretty good. A for animal.
Matt?
19.
Oh.
Is there a ring of undue action giving the lich?
What is it? Ring of Animal Friendship? Is that what
Yep.
it's called?
Animal influence.
You're an animal influencer.
Ring of Water Walking.
Okay.
Can stand on and move across any liquid surface as if it was solid ground. Speaking of anime.
It's cool for an assassin.
Well, it's not bad.
I mean, you guys don't have to necessarily keep the ones you're rolling.
Right.
Dan?
11. H-ish.
Roll a d10, Dan.
Ooh.
I like where this is going. 10.
Ring of Resistance to Thunder.
Okay.
Cool.
So Zavir can just blast thunder waves all he wants.
Oh, that's actually
Yeah.
I got some.
Josh?
Because I would never cast a spell that otherwise might hurt you. 3.
Roll a d4.
1.
This is an incredibly powerful item. I mean, I'm not joking. It is. It's a legendary item. Ring of Air Elemental Command.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
It's also incredibly niche because, you have to encounter an air elemental.
Or if someone can summon an elemental.
They're already under your command, aren't they?
Dude,
No.
did we get that cursed ring?
It was on
Yes, you did.
Am I able to identify it at some
Yes,
point?
you are. So, I mean, I already told you out of game what it does. It is part of a set. It is linked to like a crown or something.
Okay.
And anyone who wears it is can be affected by dominate person by the person who has the crown. You get no save, and the range is a mile.
Awful.
Damn.
Okie dokie. Should we sort these out now? I mean,
Yeah, you guys can
Sure.
talk about them. Role play.
do we want to role play this or do we want to just fucking
Whatever you want to do.
let's just meta this shit.
Yeah.
Move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
I mean, animal influence, that's definitely
Devin.
Devin.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, well, I like
Do you kind of already have that though?
kind of, but I'm not like not like a summoning. I can,
Oh, right.
my thing is I just transform into animals. My spell casting isn't, I like that Ring of Elemental Command. Druids have a special connection with
Elementals.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any desire for it.
Yeah, same.
All right. Saverkeen. Matt, what are you fancying?
Nothing really.
Random.
Yeah.
Random.
I'll take the
treasure.
leftovers.
The water walking one I think is cool, especially like as a, like
Someone who's
being a stealthy
around.
character. Yeah. That'll just open up so much.
Like, I don't know. I can't picture. I walk across the river. Like nobody's going to be in a room of water that I can sneak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you could like just sprint across a moat or like they use water features a lot defensively in the Underdark and
Yeah.
You can probably honestly move faster than a boat would travel in the water
but
if you're running.
Dan, anything?
I mean, the only thing that stood out was the thunder resistance in case you're dropping spells where I'm going to be. Otherwise, I don't think there's anything that jumped out that I needed.
Anybody else want to make animal buddies?
I don't like animals.
You can cast. So fear is a very powerful spell. It's a 3rd level spell. It is a 60-foot cone of fear that it only affects beasts. You do some fear stuff.
I do,
which is cool.
You guys could also potentially just sell these once you get back to Menzo if you wanted to.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say if any of these jump out to anyone, go for it. Otherwise,
did anyone else want the Ring of Air Elemental?
Nope.
Stuff?
Honestly, the only one that's kind of useful for Xavier is the distance spell, but you took that as party leader. So,
well, I got it in a trade.
Character, Xavier is probably going to.
Well, maybe in all, because I haven't put it on.
That's there for story purposes.
Okay. Yeah, the Ring of Elemental command gives you Featherfall essentially all the time.
That's strong.
Damn. Oh, so it does more than just command air elementals?
Yeah, everything else is related to air elementals. You can spend 2 charges to cast Dominate Monster on an air elemental. In addition, when you fall, you descend 60 feet per round and take no damage from falling. You can also speak and understand Orin. If you help slay an air elemental while attuned to the ring, gain access to some other stuff.
Oh, holy shit. It gives you resistance to lightning damage? Yeah.
Yep. You have a flying speed equal to your walking speed. And then you can cast spells.
What did the 4 do?
Yeah, that's crazy.
What did the 1d4? Oh, was it for different elementals?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Jin, you want to take the water walking for now?
Yeah.
We can end up trading any of these.
I've got the axe to sell too. Or I don't know what we want to do. I mean, theoretically, it'd probably be giving it to my mother, and it would go in our war chest.
What does the animal influence do? You can fear animals?
You can cast Animal Friendship, speak with animals, and fear, but it can only target animals. But in fear is a cone. So you can just blast it into a group of people and only
You don't
beasts.
want that? I mean, you are a druid.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not your...
That's fine. Yeah, I could use it, especially if I'm starting to do surface things. You can take the air elemental command. We'll be hanging out. We'll get you attuned to that bad boy.
I mean, I don't... Like I said, the only one that's kind of useful for me is the distance spell one. But
You could swap them. You could.
I'll hang on to the cursed ring for now.
Yeah, you do really well with stuff like that. Make great choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
just give that to someone you don't like.
honestly, I have a few spells that are touch that would be cool, like cure wounds, but I don't want to stiff Josh or Xavier. I would give up the distant spell ring.
All right. If you're down with it, then you take the animal influence and the...
Air elemental command. That is fair. I didn't want to.
Just dominating everything out here.
Only if they're air elementals.
After a short rest, a medium size rest,
Works for me.
Wait,
Works for the warlock.
Where's medium rest?
the cave suddenly kind of bursts into activity. These things start flying in flocks, swarming around the room. You can see that members of the tribe are preparing to move. They're packing small leather satchels. They're gathering, chittering to each other loudly. And Trolltooth comes over, says, "Look, you are all very small, but can't carry much weight. We should be good, ready to go."
How many days again, Trolltooth?
3. 2 days on the surface, 1 day in the tunnels.
So no long rest. I do not feel a connection with...
No, because she's a bitch.
Yeah. Xavier seems like agitated.
Oh, really? He's agitated?
Extra.
Wow.
The Alita, is it?
Yes.
Alita's not talking to you either. So you're all pretty tired. You got enough rest to not be like literally fatigued, but just not enough to feel rested, especially after the grueling kind of combat you went through. Did you guys
Short rest where you can recover hit points.
recover
though,
hit
right?
points?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll
Sir.
hit dice.
I used all 4 hit dice, and I'm almost to full.
Okay.
19.
I used 2 and I'm at full.
And I got one. I got one
Where's my D8s?
spell slot back. One first level spell slot from Arcane Recovery.
4 of us going with you.
We travel with those creatures.
Let them do the work. They know the way. You are passenger. They're not creatures. They're smart. Anyone with a decent knowledge nature, you know this. They're not like they're pretty intelligent. From what you understand, they can be communicated with.
Savarkeen has the whistle. She takes it off and she holds it.
He just kind of brushes you off like to keep it. And he says, "They come now. Let them carry you. Don't try to steer. Don't try to tell them where to go." And again, just like with the skiff, it's almost like they're attacking you at first. You have to try to not panic as they wrap themselves around you and then pick you up.
Are these ones larger?
No. The one that picks you up is a little larger. They probably had the largest one grab you, but they don't seem to have much trouble with the rest of you. You're all pretty light, and you all basically don't wear armor, right? Or you wear very light armor.
Yeah.
I think Savarkeen probably has the heaviest armor, and it's the bullate plate is not that heavy.
I got a breastplate.
I have a breastplate.
You have a breastplate? No shit.
Look at all
Okay.
you.
Cool.
I got leather.
Dark
You're
elf
smart.
breastplates.
Yeah.
So you're all lifted up, and then it's like going on one of those rides at the carnival where like it just whips you up into the air super fast. And then all of a sudden into these tunnels. You all don't even go into the same tunnels, but these narrow passages where you constantly feel like you're going to like whack into a wall. And they start making these tight turns, kind of jerking back and forth. Like, you know, those roller coasters that are in the dark. Everyone give me a ride check.
That
Put a
isn't-
lot of points in that.
Isn't a thing.
I know.
Yeah.
None of you have that.
Animal handling?
Animal handling. That's the one.
Any chance I could gain an advantage because I've done this trip before with Trolltooth?
I'm going to give you advantage because a combination of that and the fact that you have the animal
Ring.
ring,
I got a 12.
even though they're not beasts, but
16 for Savarkeen.
15 for Severe. I was actually kind of hoping to roll well.
what did you
That'd be
get,
more
Savarkeen?
16.
All right. And what did you get, Matt?
3.
All right.
Did you roll
Jiden's-
one?
I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Jiden is not comfortable not being in control.
Jiden and Salivar, you guys kind of don't take that advice really well. You try to kind of control it, maybe slow it down, but because you're not just kind of going with it, you start to feel sick. I mean, it's a couple hours of being on a roller coaster in the dark. You're both nauseated.
You know what GM makes this up? The kind of GM that gets motion sickness.
Imagine you're hungover and you just rode Space Mountain 5 times in a row.
Yeah, you both have the nauseated condition
I'll take some Tums.
as you whip through these dark tunnels, not even really aware of where everyone else is. Dan, Salvar, you get to this point after doing this for hours where you almost black out. And then suddenly you feel this burst of cold air as you come out of a tunnel and onto the surface. You're above these mountains. You're very, like the elevation is actually pretty high. You smell this fresh pine. You feel the snowflakes like hitting your skin. And it's surprisingly refreshing.
I think he draws kind of deep breaths, trying to recover from this ordeal through the tunnels.
And then you see another cloaker next to you with a goblin on its back. And you're not sure where your companions are, but it kind of directs you and it brings you to this ruin. It lands in the ruins of this stone building high in the mountains. There's kind of snow falling on the rocks all around you. It's clearly not a place that anyone has lived in a very long time. And the goblin that gets off, it says to you in Undercommon, it says, "Our path a little shorter.
Where are my companions?
They'll be here soon."
He kind of takes a step towards the goblin, but backs off.
You see his cloak kind of flutter as he considers skittering away. Wait here. They'll be back. I patrol the area. And he jumps into the air. The thing unfurls and carries him away into the darkness.
The cloaker that carried me, does it stay?
You're not sure where it went.
Okay. It dropped me and kept flying.
It's probably around somewhere. Yeah.
Salivar has a moment to reflect. I could be abandoned here.
You're in this long sort of rectangular room. The ceiling of this building is gone. It's been gone forever. So all that remains are these stone walls that are kind of covered in snow and this altar near one end of the room, this black stone altar. And as you're standing there, hearing the howling wind kind of come through the open window bays, you feel a presence. You feel how would you describe this presence? Your patron.
I think at first it is, I think the first instinct is kind of awe, as in power.
Mm-hmm.
Because what was once divine and has now fallen has a particular type of menace to it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a patient power as well. So it's just kind of that palpable feeling of other that you kind of feel kind of come over you.
This whole place kind of has this feeling of a place that was once very holy and divine, but is now something else. And you hear a voice. Your time grows short.
What does that mean? My life or my mission?
The Tuatara witch is close to Menzoberranzan.
We are moving as fast as we can.
Do we truly fear what happens if she returns?
It would be the end of our house.
Would it? Would it be so bad if House Duskgrin were destroyed?
Everything I know would be destroyed. Where would my place be? I have fought for it.
Your place is not House Duskgrin. You have a higher purpose. If your house is to fall, remember that.
If.
If.
Is that an offer?
What fortune to have found such a blade. You could take many of their heads with it.
It could be used to defend our house, or to topple it. Is that what you say?
A fitting blade for you. You who will see the downfall of the city of spiders. A blade of a champion.
He spins around looking for the voice now at such a insane proclamation.
You hear the rushing of wings and you see something take off and fly away. And for a moment, you think that they're feathered. And then you realize it's the cloaker. And you look back and you see that axe just leaned against the remains of a pillar. And then you see several more cloakers approaching.
He watches through the snow. These people who are part of the city. Looks back at the axe.
The rest of you arrive at the ruins. As you all land, the goblins gather as well. And one of them says to Trolltooth in Goblin, Josh, I think you're the only one that speaks it.
Yeah.
He says to Trolltooth, there's merchants, halflings. They're camped down 3 switchbacks, maybe 2 hours from us on foot. A few minutes only for us to get there. And then another one says, easy pickings. And the first one nods.
We're all together there now?
Yeah. You've spoken Goblin to him, so he knows you understand him.
Yeah. He turns to the others, and then he looks at Jid and Salivar. Neither of you look very well. If I'd known, pledging my allegiance to House Duskgrin, that you were so ill-fitted to new experiences. Jidden, it's just like being with a drow female. Just let them do the work.
Savarkeen is ignoring this.
You're just looking at Jidden's mask. He just stands there staring at you. But there's like a slight wobble.
Shake, a little bit of shake.
He sneers, just trying to get a reaction. Then he says, the goblins are discussing something. There's a caravan, traders, halflings. They say it's just a few minutes down some switchbacks on the back of these creatures. They seem intrigued by easy pickings.
They're still talking about it.
He's
kind of going over like what they like. You hear them saying like they're camped out. There's 3 wagons, maybe 20 of them, but only a handful look like warriors. Blah blah blah.
He's kind of conveying it, not secretly, like he knows they.
Do we have enough supplies to last 3 days' journey?
You assume that they brought enough, but you're not sure.
I don't want to eat cold fish and fungus for the next 3 days. Halflings are known for being fat, comfortable creatures. I'm sure they have something more interesting.
Well, then let's scare them off. Take the supplies and leave. If we can keep these goblins from sinking their teeth into the merchants themselves, perhaps they'll be satisfied with looting.
We'll take the supplies. What happens to the halflings doesn't matter.
For the short amount of time it would delay us, I think it is worth perhaps gaining something.
It is worth the comfort. I could do with comfort.
Trolltooth says in Undercommon now.
Mm-hmm. He comes over.
You wish attack?
If you help, we will attack.
We get share.
Yes. They can't carry much. Anything heavy. I doubt the halflings have much more than trade goods, but won't be able to carry much.
We will eat there at their camp.
Is it close to like when we would rest, or they want to get to there's a roost?
This is the resting spot.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's still night.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you probably aren't. Yeah, it's going to be dawn soon.
So it'd be like time to get down, little quick attack, grab some shit, come back.
Yep. Okay. Little raid. Just a little raid.
A little raid.
He says there's a basement here, an underground place where we can hide from the light. But if we raid the halflings, we must move now before the light is up.
Lead the way, then, goblin.
We attack from above.
Set us down before.
We will circle, harass from above. We have bows. The 4 of you, we drop you right in the middle of their camp. Most are asleep. My scout says that there are a few guards.
That won't be a problem.
Okay.
No matter what happens, you will come back to bring us.
He nods.
I'm trying to get a read on Trolltooth.
Okay.
Zavir is still suspicious.
Okay. Give me a insight.
Pretty good. 22.
He is. Yeah, he seems like he kind of wants to keep you guys happy, and he's a little apprehensive about working with you because you are dark elves, but he understands that as long as your kind of goals align, it's fine, and he knows better than to try to cross you guys. I mean, there's really no gain in it, other than some crappy magic rings.
Is he noticeably more like soft towards Savarkeen or trusting of Savarkeen since we flew together?
Yeah, I'd say so. But he seems pretty excited about killing a bunch of halflings.
Sweet.
Yeah. Like I said, they're not good guys.
Really relying on that shared moment.
It was a good moment. I gave him a gift.
You blow the whistle?
If there's anyone out there that does art, if we can get some sort of Aladdin and Jasmine style art.
The magic cloaker ride with Trolltooth.
Yep.
Except Trolltooth gets the fucking web blown on his tummy. It's a whole new world.
And that's the sound clip. All right. What are you guys doing? What are you you're ambushing a bunch of halfling merchants.
Waiting for the
Sounds
cloaker to kind of swoop down.
Okay. Which they do. They swoop down. They grab you guys.
Are you still nauseated?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys.
Yeah, I'm going to cast Armor of Agathis on myself.
Okay.
What is nauseated?
I just looked it up.
I'm just looking at Devin because I assumed he had all the rules ready.
Say it's
to go.
not. It's not
I'm not
listed as a
nauseated.
condition on.
Oh, it's
Or
not.
sickened?
Sick.
Nauseated,
I'm sorry.
unable to attack, cast spells, concentrate on spells, or do anything else requiring attention.
No. That's a little too extreme. Sorry. Sickened?
Oh, no.
That's. I mean,
No, I don't see it.
I don't think it's a 5e one. It's like blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, grappled, incapacitated, invisible, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, restrained, stunned, unconscious, exhaustion.
Make something up.
Yeah.
Minus.
Negative dex, something like that. Well, that would be big on me.
I'm gonna say, because just giving you guys disadvantage to hit is boring. I keep doing that, but I'm gonna say attacks against you have advantage, and you guys have disadvantage on any dexterity based rolls,
Okay.
and you're just grumpy.
I'm guessing we haven't had time to attune to these new rings.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you probably haven't even fully identified them. You haven't. Yeah. So the cloakers grab all of you. They lift you into the air. Within 30 seconds, you're above this camp. You see wisps of smoke from several campfires. There's quite a few halflings down here, but most of them are probably just merchants or family members. And they drop you right at the base of a campfire, and right at the base of this campfire where 2 guards are on duty, standing, quite shocked when 4 dark elves literally land in front of them. Both of the guards are wearing chainmail, and they have short swords and scabbards and shields as well, which they immediately go for. But you guys are going to get a surprise round on them.
Jake, I do not land.
Okay.
I jump off the cloaker
Mhm.
when we're about 30 feet up, and I cast Levitate.
Levitate. All right.
Pro move.
Cool. The rest of you land in front of them.
Initiative? Or
Initiative.
21 for Jidden.
10 for Silavar.
4, Savarkeen.
11 Zavir.
Wait, is initiative dex based?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
10.
I'll just hit the worst of the 2.
Mhm.
So that's 10 still.
And they got an 8. But they're missing this round. Zavir, what do? You're floating above them. Actually, I probably the levitate thing is going to be your action for this round.
Okay.
Yeah. So you jump off and you cast levitate, and you're floating above. Salavar and Jidden, what do you guys do? You land in front of these poor halfling guards.
Silavar lands kind of in a crouch
Mhm.
and slowly stands. And when he raises his head up, his eyes are black.
Nice.
And he says, "Run." And
you're doing
the
the necrotic cloak.
Yep. And the sword is going to summon to his hand.
Okay.
So DC 14, wisdom save, 10-foot radius.
It's pretty,
Okay.
like everything you get is a short rest recovery.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, warlock.
That's nice.
One of them turns and runs. Jidden.
The one that stays, Jidden lands, and in the same motion as he stands up, pulls his rapier and is still dizzy from the flight and takes a step to the right and goes off balance and swings wide.
Oh.
And then will disengage and just
Okay.
kind of like slip off into the shadows of the camp, or at least attempt to.
All right. The other one, the one that you just swung at, he draws his short sword. Oh no, he draws a short sword. He doesn't do anything because this is a surprise round. Savarkeen.
As he draws that short sword, Savarkeen holds up that scepter, and the light sort of flares a little bit. And off that short sword, you see a glint of the moonlight, and it starts to spread along the blade. I'm going to cast Heat Metal. I will choose a
Ouch.
manufactured metal object, such as a metal weapon. It takes 2d8 damage as soon as I cast the spell. That is almost max damage, 15 points of fire damage.
Okay. The short sword glows red hot, and then he actually catches on fire. And he falls to the ground screaming as his body melts from the, hot as the sun, the lightsaber that he's now wielding.
Damn.
She lowers the scepter and the blade cools.
You hear a dog barking. You hear multiple dogs barking. Severe, you recognize that it is not actually dogs barking. It's the alarm spell.
Okay. Is it my...
And we're at the top.
I cast Fairy Fire focused on the area the dogs are barking from. I know that alarm is a small area.
Mm-hmm. You cast Fairy Fire on a tent.
Okay. So, be a DC 11 deck save any creature in there.
Before I roll this, why don't you roll your portents for the day? Oh, wait, technically the same day.
Yeah, so I have one left.
Okay. I rolled 12.
Okay.
Yep. So good, but you still light up the tent,
Okay.
kind of indicating to your allies that something might be there.
In Drow, he shouts out, "There's a caster there."
You all hear screaming as people start coming out of their tents, waking up, and you see these cloakers kind of just, one of them will fly by, and then you'll see an arrow hit a halfling. Dan, I'm sorry, Salavar. One guard ran, the other one died in a fire.
Yeah, funny stuff.
and then this tent got lit up by fairy fire.
Salavar strides to the tent. He feels very unintimidated by this group, and he pulls back the tent.
Okay, you just pull back the opening of the tent.
Mm-hmm.
There is a halfling there. He is in what looks like night clothes, and he's pretty shocked to see you pull back the opening of his tent. You could attack him if you wanted to.
I say, you should have run. And I
just woke up, dude.
I reach for him, and I'm going to try to touch attack.
Are you casting a spell?
Yep.
All right.
I rolled, it's 19, so 25 to hit.
Okay. What are you casting?
Inflict wounds.
All right.
Oh, you know what? I'm not doing that because it's the same day, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have that.
Oh, those are racial things?
That's a feat.
Oh.
And so I'll just Eldritch Blast him.
Okay.
Same thing. So I rolled a hit, the 19 hits, and then does a die 10.
A 19 to hit?
25.
25 hits.
Yep.
Eldritch Blast. All right. D10.
4 damage.
Oh. Brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Radiant.
No.
Okay. Yeah, you hit him. He seems very surprised by everything that's going on around him right now. Jidden, you see your brother go open, rip this tent door open that's surrounded, enveloped in fairy fire.
Yeah, Jidden will go over and assist in the slaying of whatever lives in this little tent. He'll take a stab with his rapier, and that's a 8 to hit. So he probably makes his way over, still dizzy, trips over some tent rope and face plants.
Wait, no, you
don't have disadvantage on attacks.
I'm dex-based attack, though.
You don't have disadvantage on
Oh, well, that's still only an 11, so it don't fucking matter on that one.
That is a miss.
Dex ability checks.
Yeah.
And then they have advantage to attack us.
Okay.
They go before you, Devin. By they, I mean him.
I'm sure these guys are evil. These are all stolen goods.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Of course.
Pirates.
They raided an orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me something, guys. I don't know what happens. You guys know. You know your characters better than me. This halfling casts a spell, and all of a sudden, there is a explosion of light. The entire camp is lit up by daylight. What happens to you guys when you're in the spell daylight?
La cucaracha.
Disadvantage to
No, but is there a save or like get stunned or something?
No.
Drow take minus, 2 penalty when they're in the sunlight?
I just disadvantaged everything.
I think, is it just disadvantage? All right.
You have disadvantage on attack rolls and on perception checks that rely on sight when you, your target, or whatever you're trying to perceive is in direct sunlight.
Okay. All right. He casts daylight.
Whew. That's unfortunate.
And then he says something in surface language that you don't understand. Or do you?
No, I don't.
No,
But,
okay.
sorry, he takes an extra 2 damage, my necrotic shroud. I
Okay.
forgot.
Devin, what's Savarkeen doing?
Is this guard still...
That guard is dead.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. I killed him.
Mm.
I'm going to crack the scepter, cast Shillelagh. It's bonus action. This thing is still in the tent.
The halfling, yes.
Thing.
This thing. I'm going to shield. I just shield my eyes. I say, Silavar, deal with that. I'm going to pull out I have my shield now in my scepter. I'll take the dodge action.
Okay.
I'm holding the shield up against
Zavir?
the source of the light.
You don't see the wizard, but you see the light. It's 60 feet, so you're in it.
Yeah. I think reflexively, like he starts to rise. He uses his movement with levitate to rise up, but he doesn't get out of it. Just kind of reactively like moving away, and then looks back down. Do we see any other?
There's a lot of people running, and there are some guards, but it looks like the goblins are taking care of them.
Okay. He touches the ring on his hand, and as his action, he's going to try to communicate with her.
What are you trying to say? Or what are
I'm
you
trying to find out a way to make amends, to appease. Alita, tell me what you want.
You don't hear words. You just kind of get a feeling of darkness, a feeling of oblivion.
Okay. Just kind of frustrated. I just reach out and chill touch one of these halflings running around.
Okay. Nice. You kill it.
Having a bad day.
Dan.
Silavar kind of throws the flap fully back, and then his sword arm comes through and swings at this
Okay.
creature.
This creature. This thing.
As a bonus action, he's going to curse it.
Okay.
So he says, that was a mistake. And like these kind of demonic words kind of whisper out as he's swinging the blade. Probably not. Plus
How
7.
far away are you, Savarkeen? Just wondering, like you're off. You're not going to that fight.
Daylight.
I'm still at the center of the campfire where I killed the guard.
Okay.
I'm still standing by his corpse.
12, Jake.
12 damage.
12 to hit.
12 to hit.
Yeah.
Miss.
Yeah.
Jidden.
Jidden's just gonna like shriek and yell, "We knew this was bad!" And he's just gonna fucking go into a blind rage and start stabbing at this thing. 12.
12 to hit.
Yeah.
Miss. You guys suck.
Yeah, we're
Disadvantage is
terrible.
pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think Jidden's going to take that as a sign, and he's going to start making his way out of the daylight. He's getting the fuck out of there.
All right. You're going to move.
Yeah, so I can move
Like-
30 feet.
Well, you can move 60.
Oh, no,
Well,
because I
you can-
attacked. So I
Yeah,
would get
yeah.
30.
Okay. All right. That changes his action, actually. Yeah.
Remember when he
Changes
party wiped to the halfling merchants?
I mean, you guys might. As soon as I'm out of this daylight, I am out of this.
This guy's more than a merchant. Maybe he's got a magical ring on
They
him,
are
too.
merchants of death.
We find they have like minotaurs in the boxes and shit that they're transporting.
Release the minotaurs.
Fire
I
bats.
think just checking something. Yeah, I thought so. All right, Dan. He does something that you recognize because you can do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
He casts another spell, and then he disappears into a cloud of mist, and he reappears actually pretty close to Savarkeen. and attacks you, Savarkeen, with a touch attack, which misses.
Interpose the shield.
Yep. Tries to grab the shield. Oh, wait. You do not wear metal armor, right?
I do not.
Okay. I don't get advantage then. It was shock and grasp.
Nice. I whip
Yep.
the hand away.
You see his hand just like the electricity on it. And he says something to you in surface language. And it's your turn. He was going to fireball you guys, but Matt moved, and then it
Nice.
wasn't worth it.
Amazing.
Good thing I missed that attack.
Just blows the wizard out of the sky.
Surface to air missile.
I'm so clever for being safe up here, away from the danger.
Do you have to roll to hit with a fireball?
No.
In 5? No.
No.
I think deck safe for half.
Save for half, yeah.
I'm going to transform.
Okay.
Wild shape.
All right.
I have a question.
Can you do that same day?
I have 2 uses.
Okay.
They come back on a short rest.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's another form that is CR1, the same CR as my spider. I was wondering if I could reskin it a little bit
What?
from a brown bear to an owl bear.
Just a weak owlbear?
We're going that way?
I don't think she means to do it.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. But she's up above the surface?
Did you buy that
Gonna cost some
DLC?
tension.
She's in the moonlight.
Yeah. That'll be $5. No. Keep your money.
Do you have Venmo?
Yeah, you do.
An owl bar is definitely not a CR1.
No,
Definitely
it's not.
No,
But you just
a
make it
brown bear is, and
So-
it has
Okay.
it has a bite and 2 claws.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
just the look of it.
Yeah, just it looks
Sounds good.
feathered.
We also faced one
I don't like
in
it.
the opening game.
We did.
She doesn't mean to do it.
Okay.
Power of Christ compels you.
Maybe yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the ring, that ring of animal handling. Maybe it's like
And the moon.
a mithril ring touched by the moon. It glows, and then this owl bear. There's like a flash of moonlight again, and then claws. And I'll make my multi attack.
So you don't have disadvantage, right? Once you shift, because you're no longer a drow.
So I become a large beast. It says I retain any benefits of my race. Do you think would that still include the sunlight sensitivity?
Yeah.
Okay. So disadvantage. 11 to hit.
A miss.
Okay. Oh, I make 1 with my bite and 1 with my claws. So I'll do the bite now. 2 19s for a 24 to hit.
That'll hit.
Cool. All right. The bite is 8 points of piercing damage. And it stands up and roars.
Nice. Josh.
Zavir, just like trying to shield his eyes. He sees the scrum below him, like in a burning blaze, and he just starts lowering towards it. And he reaches out, feels the cold, crystallizes into a ball, and he launches it towards this halfling and casts Chromatic Orb as cold. And he's going to use his portents. So there's a 15 plus 5, so 20 to hit.
That's it.
I thought you were going to counter spell. It's only first level because I'm fucking out of juice. 12 cold damage.
12.
That ain't nothing.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Salivar.
Salivar kind of growls when he sees him misty step, knows the process, knows the magic, and like pivots and scans, and then he's going to move and attack as
Okay.
he's kind of confronting the owlbear now. Same result. Rolled a 5.
Jesus Christ.
I dropped 30 feet down. So
You
I'm
don't
only
have disadvantage,
10
Dan.
feet
You know
over.
that, right?
Okay.
Apparently I do.
Damn. Crazy. Matt, your eyes are stinging from this light.
Jidin's gonna move out of the light
Okay.
into the edges of the darkness.
All right. You can see the cloakers circling, swarming around. You see the ones that dropped you off picking up halflings and dropping them off the switchback. You-
Sick.
How's Zavir laughing, not Josh? I think that's very sad.
Are there any halflings? Is there anything moving around in the edges of the light and the darkness?
I mean, it's chaos. They're everywhere. They're mostly fleeing.
Okay.
It seems like the wizard is the only real threat.
I can't do anything into it, so
You just keep missing.
yeah.
You got no crossbow.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit, that's right.
I think maybe Jidin is going to take this opportunity to start like moving through tents or
Just coup de grace.
no.
Anyone who's still
I mean,
sleeping.
that would be fun. No, wagons and stuff looking for things to take.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
it's kind of like a raider move,
Start
right?
raiding.
Like,
Yeah.
They're
you
like,
just assume victory.
Sounds good.
Very Viking.
No, I don't think he's trying to assume victory. I think he's trying to take the best he can and get the fuck out. Hope you guys can deal with it.
Apparently not.
Perception search isn't a thing.
No, you just start searching. You don't have to roll.
Sweet. Good, because those dice ain't working.
Dan, you had moved into melee, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, no.
No, it's okay. Devin, give me a saving throw, please. Dexterity saving throw.
Disadvantage.
That's a 16.
Okay, that'll do it.
I got a 16 and a 20 on the dice.
Wow. You take 15 damage as that's already halved. It was 30.
Wow.
Oh.
As a bolt of lightning.
Okay.
Okay.
So much for the halflings.
Good luck in there, boys.
There's a flash and a crack lights up this entire mountainside.
The owlbear stands and roars.
Who's got the thunder ring?
Yeah, combine them.
Not attuned.
Not attuned.
Not attuned.
And you do.
And then it's your turn. After that, Devin.
If I slayed an arrow elemental while attuned to the ring, I could have had resistance to that.
Seems like there's a lot of steps.
Yeah. I'm going to do...
You could see like a drow matron would be like, go find me an air elemental. Bring it back alive.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bring it back alive.
I'm going to do the claws first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do claws first. And that's a miss, probably with a 10.
Okay.
And then an 18 and a 20 on that. So that is
Ooh.
a 23 with the bite.
That's going to hit, even with the shield spell. So he actually puts up like that same shield that you've seen your allies do, and you just go right through it. You feel it. You feel the energy fizzle.
I peck through the shield. I like sort of pull it away with, or my claws knock it away. And then I just like peck and rip with my beak.
How much damage?
9.
9. That'll do it. You peck and you dig your beak into him, and repeatedly. It's gory. It's a mess.
Blood all over
You
the
kill
feathers.
The poor wizard.
Daylight is not concentration.
Nice.
So that shit ain't going away for an hour.
Sweet.
What's it cast on? Is it cast on an object or something?
Daylight? I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it is an object. Probably something in the tent. You can't like cover it though. Doesn't work.
Okay.
Salivar kind of furiously turns around and marches back to the tent,
Nice.
feeling very unsatisfied and ill.
Start looting.
Well, he reaches around and then finds a coin with a god on it, and it's the daylight is emanating from it. Walks out of the tent and just hurls it off the cliff.
I like it. I don't know if it works that way, but I like it. It like throwing a spotlight off a mountain. You just see it kind of tumble down the mountain.
Zavir descends to the ground. He also goes over the tent,
Okay.
and he starts very disrespectfully rummaging around
Okay.
for a book.
You find the book, the spell book that you're looking for.
This was supposed to be easier.
It was easy.
Salivar's just very annoyed.
You're like, this was supposed to be an optional encounter that was not difficult.
Get in. You hear your name.
Rummaging around somewhere. The light's out, but
Zavir holds up the book and says, "Nothing worthwhile comes easy." He tucks the book into his little satchel.
Salivar is pulling foodstuffs off of like one of the wagons and preparing himself a meal. He looks up at the sky as the goblins still kind of flutter about.
It grows light
The goblins start landing and start going through wagons and collecting food and coins.
Zavir goes over and kicks around the body of the wizard. Looks for components, anything useful.
You find,
He's looking for a wand.
no wands, but he does have
Random magic item.
not random. Nope. He has
Got a painting.
An art piece worth 50 gold pieces.
2d4 art objects.
He's a merchant. You never know.
His boots are magical.
I strip the boots off this dead body.
Okay.
There is something bothering him. I can just see the ways.
And then Trolltooth comes over. He comes directly to Savrakeen. We found something very strange in one of the wagons. You hear screaming as his companions are still killing halflings.
The owlbear starts to follow
Okay.
towards the wagon.
He goes over.
I hope
You
we
all
put
go
a trigger
over,
warning before we started this arc.
and
Yeah.
you uncover this wagon, and you don't know what it is. I'm going to say Zavir is familiar. No, actually, I'm sorry. You guys are from Menzoberranzan. You're all familiar with this. There is, it is not active, but there is what looks like an iron golem inside this wagon.
What
Whoa.
the fuck?
Looks maybe unfinished. Like the magic part of it is unfinished.
That's substantial.
I don't think the cloakers are lifting it.
You're all kind of looking at it. That moment in Pulp Fiction where it's from the point of view of inside the trunk.
Zavir looks around. Are there any caves or is there anywhere?
There's a basement in the place we just were.
Right, which is up a couple switchbacks. I mean, there's wagons, but the horses or mules or donkeys are all scattered. But
The owlbear starts like nudging the wagon, the posts on the wagon to see if it can fit in between them, and looks at
like
you.
the yoke of the.
This is something could be quite valuable. If we come back this way, if we can have a way to hide it.
The goblins will likely recover it. It's a lost
How?
cause.
There's no way. You guys flew like for a day.
Oh, true.
To get here.
Okay.
Yeah.
The magic's not complete. Far beyond their capabilities.
This thing is nudging the wagon.
Zavir goes over to like the edge
Mhm.
of like kind of the switchback, looks down and just thinks like maybe if we kind of push this thing just over the edge, maybe try to cover it with some snow or fell a tree or something like that. If there's,
I mean, yeah, you just see like trees and rocks below. You're not sure how much it would damage it.
Speak to the goblins. They owe us more than just passage home. If we declare it ours, then it is ours. He says that in a very Menzo way.
Are you guys talking in Dark Elf?
Yep.
All right.
he says to Trolltooth and Goblin, we lay claim to this item. We cannot take it now. We shall return for it.
He laughs. Okay.
I'm going to start trying to pull the wagon.
He pokes it with a javelin. Is it alive?
Not yet.
How strong is a bear?
And this particular
Probably.
stat block has a strength of 19.
Okay, you can move the wagon. You could be a pack animal.
As
for
we're
it.
walking now, I
start
say,
dragging it.
does the book say anything about it?
Trolltooth says, I think she wants maybe to be tied to the wagon.
It's kinky.
Big saucer eyes look at you.
I try to assist in this process.
Roll use rope.
I remember that was a
Did
skill.
anyone take that?
Oh God.
And he's
Good old 3.5.
Zavir just says to Salivar, he says,
Imagine if I'm like, sorry, you can't recover it because you failed your use rope roll.
He's so intense.
We just drop the rope on the ground and shrug.
Leave. No, the encounter just ends.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
the book is arcane. It will require study, but it can help us.
About the golem.
Yes. It is a highly complex process. We don't have time now. We must get it over the edge and get back to the roost. I try to help. I try to aid
Okay.
Savrakeen
You can like get Savrakeen hooked up to the wagon.
saddled up.
Yeah. Where are you going?
Slap her on the ass. Go on now. Yeah. He doesn't do that.
Up the switchback.
Okay. You're bringing it to the ruins. The bear starts slowly. Once the wagon is moving, it's a little easier, but there was probably 4 mules hooked up to this wagon. And I mean, the bear is strong, but it's uphill. It's tough. By the time you get there, the sun is already starting to rise. It's starting to get bright out. And you don't have, I mean, unless you're going to try to work during the day, you have to leave it like in the ruin, but like above ground until nightfall.
Okay.
So you get the wagon up there and kind of into the ruins and cover it as best you can. There's not a lot of foliage up here. And it's middle of winter, so there's not really a lot that you can use. So you guys camp out in the basement of this church ruin, basically. It's clear that the goblins have been here before. They kind of have it set up in a way that is semi-comfortable. It's clear that they like use this. The cloakers know to like come in here before the sun rises. And that is where you sleep for the day. And you get a long rest.
Whew.
Jake,
Yes.
at some point,
Yes, the golem can wield the axe. Yes.
Perfect. Salivar wakes up during the day.
Okay.
He can see just like down at the end of the passage in the basement, the sunlight coming through.
Okay.
And he walks down towards it and then walks up back into the temple and looks out across the landscape in the daylight. Considers it. Puts his hand out. Looks at his hand in the daylight. Something he's never seen before. Looks at the mountains. Back at the altar. And then goes back down.
As you're about to go back down, you hear that voice again. He says, "Your companions have secrets. You've seen the Wizard Zavir. Who does he pray to?
It is foreign.
And Savrakeen. Who does she pray to? You have allied yourself well. These are not our enemies.
And my brother?
Foster their sacrilege. Help it to grow and thrive. Take worshippers away from Loth. Weaken her.
And this will bring me power.
Power taken from Loth is power gained by us."
I understand. He walks down into the darkness.
Okay. Devin, you have a dream. It's more of a memory. You are on a series of catwalks above a labyrinth of stone. The top of that labyrinth is open so that you can see down. You can see all of the different tunnels and dead ends. And you can see about 24 drow making their way through these tunnels in different locations. Occasionally they'll meet up at a cross section or a corner and they'll fight. And then one of them will be hit. And then one of the wizards that are up here will line the one that's hit with fairy fire. And they'll lay down. You are watching the Melee Meg 3. You remember this day. You remember watching your younger brother fighting this day. You see him now with his signature glaive, a large, heavy weapon, very uncommon for drow soldiers to use. You see him come to a 4-way intersection, and from 2 different directions, he's attacked by dark elves. He spins the glaive as if it's much lighter than it really is, trips one, hits another, knocking his helmet off, and then spins around in a circle and throws a rock at the other one. One of the wizards lines both of the victims with fairy fire, and they lay down. Your brother quickly makes his way down another passage, and you smile watching him. Your sister is with you as well. He brings great honor to our house.
He fights well.
He is a good warrior. And smarter than most males I know. But a strange weapon.
It is unconventional.
Do you suppose that is why he's doing so well? Not much training on how to protect yourself against something so heavy.
Precisely.
He comes around a corner, uses the reach to dispatch someone before they can even move in on him, then keeps moving.
Has Mother called him to the surface yet?
No. But I hear a rumor that House Duskgrin is planning something.
House Duskgrin is always planning something.
And we will be involved.
How so?
I'm not sure. Perhaps our mission will be to ensure their success, and ours in the process.
I am uneasy about their alliance, their strange affinity for the fire.
You see your brother come around another corner, trip someone, and then he goes to hit them. Fairy fire surrounds them. He hits them anyway. And then you hear a whistle as the competition ends. Your sister says, Mother knows best. She knows what she's doing. Trust her. I believe our brother and his unconventional weapon have just won.
Savarkeen smiles.
You wake up. You remember that day. That's exactly how it happened. Something strange has happened to you today. All of your first level cleric spells are locate object.
Oh. Are my druid spells?
Druid spells, yeah.
Yeah, she remembers the strike of the glaive, and she wonders where he is now.
Josh, you wake up. Shar is pleased by this.
He
monstrosity.
As soon as he hears the voice, he breathes a sigh of relief.
How will you get it to the city?
I don't know yet. I'm hoping this book has some answers, but I don't think I have time now.
It will take months.
But something like this changed the tide of anything that was to come in our path.
Change is coming. That is certain. And be sure that you align yourselves with those that are strongest. Do not let your arrogance cost you your life.
I seek to serve her ways. Maybe I just don't always understand them. Back in the town, it put us in a beneficial situation to install that fop.
You will never return to that place. Our mission is in Menzoberranzan. That is the seat of power, not some trade hub in the middle of nowhere. Seeing that they fall would have helped. Perhaps not directly, but let us see the rest of the world fall.
Yes, my lady. All of it.
All of it. Matt, you don't get any cool interlude voices, sorry.
Well,
Get your own voice.
There's voices,
in your head.
but you guys don't get to hear them.
The goblins are preparing to leave, and Trolltooth says, "What will you do with that thing? Bring it down here?
Yes.
We covered your wagon trail."
Very good, Trolltooth. Thank you.
The thank you just escapes through his teeth.
He smiles, realizing something, and he says, "Do you know where we are? Do you have a map? You know how to get here?" And then he leaves. He goes up on the surface.
Xavier, wants to, shout something back to him, but he just kind of bites his lip. He looks at the scroll book, or the spell book that he got, and instead he reaches and he grabs a roll of parchment. And as the goblins break the camp and we get ready to move, he sits at the edge looking over, and he starts sketching.
Oh, nice. Are you going to make a dagger that lines up with the mountain range?
He's just sketches all the significant terrain features.
Cool.
He's probably seen maps of the surface, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's not used to looking at the surface, but he just thinks mountain peaks, rivers, anything he can see.
Cool. You actually can see light from a distant settlement. You're not It doesn't look very big, but it's one of the key features that you note.
Salivar is kind of standing at the top of the steps where it comes out of these ruins and looks out over the mountains. And as Jidin comes out of the darkness, he's looking out and he says, "We have to confront the fact that we may not make it in time." He's not looking at you, but he's looking out at the mountains.
Jidin stands silently behind you, looking out as well.
Savarkeen's looking at the moon. She says, "We have not yet failed."
Xavier kind of takes a pause from sketching and looks up. "That cursed orb seems to draw your attention more and more frequently. I see its reflection in you. I hope Loth does not."
She sees my gifts. She sees my devotion to my family, my house, to all of Drow. You don't know who the she is that Savarkeen's talking about.
He assumes Loth.
Yep.
Y'all got girl bosses.
Yeah.
Salivar,
Except
still
Dan.
still standing there, says, "If our house falls before our arrival, we will need a new path. I wonder now if Mother even believes us to be alive, if she cares." He's saying this knowing that you're behind him.
Brother, I don't like this. Them, what this is doing to us.
She sent us here. This was her choice for us to take this path.
For us to complete a mission. They lose sight of it. Do you?
I am looking at the future, brother. Looking at what the future holds for us. We are still hundreds of miles away. We do not know where Fenra is. We do not know if she has reached the city. We have enemies everywhere. We must be on guard.
You hear footsteps as Jidin walks up from behind you, stands in front of you, so the fading light casts on his mask, and he removes it, and you see, probably one of the few people who have ever seen his face, and you see the hair lip and the scars on his forehead. There's 8 of them that are there in and amongst his hair, and you see his lips snarl. There is no other path for me, brother.
Yours does lead somewhere. Let's hope it takes us to victory then.
He'll put his mask back on and walk away.
Across on the other side, Xavier stands, looks at the parchment, looks out, feels it's as complete as he can make it, tucks it away. He stands and faces Savarkeen. "We are resourceful, you and I, in different ways. Perhaps you've adapted to our time here, though not be it for me to speak out of turn, sister. But I think it would be unwise to let these things I've seen reflect in your powers shine when we get closer to the eyes of our beloved Spider Queen. The light of the moon and the creatures she favors are not welcome there."
She was looking out still at the moon, and she has this troubled look on her face when you say that. She thinks. And then she turns to you. "Do not cast aspersions on my faith, Xavier. I am confident that she is with us, as she has blessed your path as well. I heard you speak the words, intone the bells, divine chords of power. A male calling upon divine gifts is not received well, especially back in Menzoberranzan. You are not of House Duskgren. You are not of House Vandry. You are a lowly male in a weak house."
"Yes, sister. And those of us with such simple backgrounds must be resourceful. And I pay attention to all of the teachings that I have been so fortunate to receive.
And you have brought great value to this party, Zephyr. I am willing to keep your doubts between us. You have advised me well. You've shown that you are capable. Others may not see the things that I see.
And let us hope others do not see the things that I see. A fortunate alliance, sister.
She turns and looks at the moon again.
You look back and you see like just a dark scowl cross Zephyr's face as he glances at the moon. He kind of nods curtly at you and turns, walks in to finish packing up his things.
You all hear Trolltooth yell, "Time to fly!" And so you do. 6 hours above the surface. It's very cold. You finally make your way into a hole at the top of a mountain, and it quickly gets warm. You make your way down past clouds of gas, smoke billowing out of the earth, deeper and deeper. It's quite bright from the glow of unseen magma. And it's a few more hours in tunnels like this before you all stop deep underground. Start to unpack in a random corridor, sort of at a 45-degree angle facing down after a long day of travel. We'll say that at some point you guys stopped and the ring situation was kind of resolved. And Josh, is it a ritual to identify?
Yeah, and it's up to you. It is a ritual.
Yeah, I don't want to make it like a big thing where we have to,
But there is, the whole material components thing.
Yeah, I'm not too worried.
Okay.
Yeah. The boots are boots of the Winterland. Is that what they're called? Something like that.
Winter booties. Advantage on snowboarding checks.
Yeah, they do. They're good.
They're snug and feel quite warm. You have resistance to cold damage, and you ignore difficult terrain created by ice or snow. You can tolerate temperatures as low as minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit without any additional protection. If you wear heavy clothes, you can tolerate temperatures as low as minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit. They do require attunement.
And we do wear boots ourselves.
Yeah.
And Zavir will also try to spend some time looking through the Halfling's book.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not going to be able to.
Yeah, it's a spell book. Yeah. Bunch of spells in it.
Is there anything additionally in that might relate to
The Iron Golem?
Yeah, there's probably there's probably some notes about it. And,
some shit.
Yeah, diagrams and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, so we disseminate the ring information and work that all out. Don't have
Cool.
to.
Salivar says, Trolltooth.
Hmm.
How much longer?
We will reach the upper levels of Menzoberranzan tomorrow.
This good.
It'll be a long day.
Fine.
Savrikeen says in Drow, when we reach the upper reaches, we will be safe. I can find a place for us to hide while we assess the city, find out if Fenra has returned.
We won't be safe until we find her.
No.
Outside the city.
Where I can take us, no Drow walk.
There are tunnels outside the city I could bring you to.
We know her likely entry point. She traveled the same route we left.
Chance, you also know that if she knows that this was like a setup, then she probably won't go back in the way she came.
True.
If she has any reason to suspect that there are people waiting for her, you know.
I know how to find my brother.
You still think he's alive?
I think he's with them.
Fully?
I don't know. My brother is cunning. If he were to feign alliance, perhaps find a way to get word to my mother, he would be seen as a hero. To his house, to his city.
We're going to jump ahead to the next day. You're traveling through these tunnels, mostly tunnels that couldn't be walked through, tunnels that are at extreme angles. Once again, Devin, Savrikeen's first level spells are all locate object. And you get to a point where you kind of stop for a little break on this like cliff, on this ledge. There's like a tunnel hole below you. And you all know where you are. You know that below you are tunnels just outside of Menzoberranzan. You all, during your time in the academy, had to patrol these tunnels. It's just part of your duty to keep the wilds around the city clear of monsters. And you know that below you, this series of tunnels is often patrolled by the schools. So if you were to kind of go into the lower reaches of where you are, you'd probably run into drow patrols, which is fine. They'd probably question you, but they're not going to like attack you or anything like that.
Unless it's too late.
Right. So you're kind of paused here and, taking a short rest, taking a break.
That spell, locate object, lasts up to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just cast it once we land as we're orienting ourselves. It works within 1,000 feet.
What object?
My brother's glaive.
Okay. You don't sense anything. And after a few minutes, you guys actually mount up and start flying. And you're flying for a few minutes, and then for just a moment, you sense it below you. There's no easy way to get there. It's within 1,000 feet, but
I know the direction of its movement.
Mm-hmm.
Which way is it going?
it's going towards the city.
I float up next to Trolltooth.
He lands on a stalagmite. He's kind of sideways looking at you.
She points in the direction that they're moving. We need to get that way, even if it's not directly to the city. There's a path deep below. It leads, and she draws with her hand the line that he was traveling.
He nods. Back this way then. And starts flying back the opposite direction. Takes a tunnel that goes down. Takes a couple more twists and turns. And you sense it again. You have to cast the spell again at this point.
I'm going to cast it again.
And you can sense it. He lands again on a stalagmite. And he says, "Flat passages, drow patrolled below us. We wait here.
Wait for the others. We can move with silence.
If our business is done, find us at the statue." He says, "We'll wait here for an hour. If you don't return, we leave."
Savarkeen nods.
The statues, you're talking about something that was in the upper reaches
Mm-hmm.
that they talked about?
Mm-hmm.
Savarkeen knows where it is.
Savarkeen, what are we doing?
We are close. Drow patrols ahead. We're going to move quietly. We only engage once we find Fenra. Otherwise, we pass by.
Very well.
Whatever we do it quickly, we do it quietly. We don't have much time. And no room for error. I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace.
Cool.
As darkness just billows out of Savarkeen's robes.
Everyone give me a stealth check.
Is that advantage or plus 10?
Advantage.
Plus
Both.
10. Because we have our Pewafwi.
Jeez. Okay.
Not great.
25.
With plus 10?
Yep.
Ugh.
I only have a +1 to stealth.
Okay.
23.
Okay.
33.
31.
All right. You make your way through this tunnel. You're following the direction. You have a feeling it's not the tunnel you're in. You think it's a parallel corridor. But as you make your way forward, Jidden and Savarkeen, you both hear something up ahead. There is, in fact, some sort of patrol in this tunnel. As you continue moving down this tunnel, you think that they're moving the same direction as you. They're ahead of you, but moving the same direction. You don't think it's you don't think it's your brother and Fenra's party, because they're still kind of off to the side and the sound is coming from kind of directly in front. So you guys continue to make your way down.
Savarkeen flashes hand code. We follow.
And then you stop. You come to a bend in the corridor, and you know that they're right up ahead. Not your brother, but this patrol.
Hand code. Ahead. Patrol.
Salavar nods.
Can everyone give me perception checks?
12.
Not really.
14.
23.
Okay.
go.
As you guys make your way forward a little bit, what you don't see is 4 drow that float down from an upper corridor and land behind you. They're all armed with longbows. You don't see them as they follow you. You make your way around this corner and you see this patrol. But it's not a patrol. It is an elite force from House Vandry. An elite force of your sister's warriors, archers, who use longbows from the surface. Your house is known for going to the surface. And as you make your way around this corner and see them, one of them behind you lets out a low whistle. And you turn and you see that they've surrounded you. They've got their bows drawn on all of you, but one of them recognizes you.
The symbol House Vandry is on her Pawafui.
And she lets out another whistle, and you see your sister in the group ahead. This priestess of Loth, full priestess, in her black robes with silver spider thread on them. She comes towards all of you. She says, I am impressed. Well done, sister. Are these the only ones that survived the raid?
Yes.
She looks at all of you.
Zavir just tries to remain completely passive.
She says, all allies, yes. House Duskrin.
Salavar nods.
She recognizes you. You stand out. And Matt, you've got the telltale black hair of House Duskrin. She looks at the wizard.
Savrakine's eyes just flash over there as well.
Is that one trustworthy?
Entirely.
Yes.
I want to roll insight to see if I actually think.
She looks at you and says, a pet of Matron Talina.
Yes. Sent with us, I'm sure, to report on our doings.
I look forward to hearing the story of how you got here so quickly. But how did you get here exactly? She smiles. She says, was it the glaive?
She looks at her sister. The eyes.
You have a feeling she did the same thing.
Yeah. I remember the day at Melee Megthair.
If he has truly betrayed us, then he is going to be a formidable opponent. Watch out for that weapon. She kind of says to all of you, he's a master with it. They're on the other side of this wall. They've stopped.
Do you know if Fenra, Tuantarl, is still with them?
I can't be certain. I only know that our brother's weapon is with them.
I'm going to cast Locate Object again.
Okay.
This time, I remember being chastised by Fenra Tuantarl in her...
The snake-headed whip.
The snake-headed whip.
What does it say about this spell? You just have to...
I have to have seen the object up close.
Okay.
Oh, let me read it for you. Describe or name an object that is familiar to you. You sense the direction to the object's location as long as the object is within 1,000 feet, blah, blah. It can locate a specific object known to you as long as you have seen it up close, within
Sounds
30
good.
feet at least
All
once.
right. It's there.
She is there.
Excellent. Let us end this.
I crack the whip.
They hear it and they prepare themselves.
Yep.
House Duskrin ranks above House Vandry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah, House Duskrin is 10.
But we're both males. And there's a priest of Loth.
I just mean in terms of
There's actually two priestesses of Loth now.
whether or not we would be...
She goes, your sister goes over to the wall and calls over a wizard that is in her power party and instructs him to cast the spell. And that's where we'll stop.
Dun, dun.
Yes.
This is a Vandry wizard, Josh. So take notes.
Thank you for listening to A Tangled Web. Please, if you have time, tell a friend, write us a review, or, just go out and shout it on the rooftops. Check out all of our different social media platforms. You can go to our website and find links at the bottom. There's probably also links on whatever you're listening to right now. That's NastyGramRPG.com. And definitely check out the socials because I tend to put little things on there to help with NPCs and visual aids and whatnot. Our intro music was by A Wilhelm Scream. Theme song is Oath by Adrian von Ziegler. All scores by Adrian von Ziegler and Antti Marttikainen. Thanks for listening.
That's nasty.
Alita? Is it?
Yes.
Alita's not talking to you either.
Nothing new in his life.
I can roleplay this.
She won't tell you why she's mad at you?
I'm assuming she also has a ring of mind shielding because they all do.
Sorry.
Sick.
Oh, boy.
Can the goblins take the wheels off of it?
Once
Leave it on
it's,
cinder blocks?
Up here.
Oh, God.
And then, yeah.